All right, welcome everybody. I'm here. I'm Brother Francis Revels-Bey. I'm the host for Clear Blue Radiance. Today we have what I think is a short program. You never can tell because I get to be quite long-winded. So today's date is today. Here we go. Today's date is Friday. It is July the 28th, 2022. Can you believe that? We are already more than halfway through the year. Oh, time is flying. And so I have an opportunity to share some metaphysical spiritual insight with you. And I was wondering what I could do, what I could talk about today. And what I decided is it's going to be called You Can Dream a New Reality. Affirm it, decree it, so you can live your reality. And that's living it in the present tense right now. So before I talk about that, I just want to mention here briefly who I am. I'm Brother Francis Revels-Bey. I've been a spiritual counselor for about 40 plus years, 48 years now. And I enjoy helping people like yourself have an opportunity to gain more clarity in your life and also help you to find your purpose. Now, our purposes change as we change. As our consciousness grows, as our consciousness gets higher, our purpose gets clearer. And so we have to just keep that in mind. We are always growing, even though when it looks or appears that things are just standing still. They really aren't. Things are always in motion for us. And we have to learn how to pay attention so that we can see ourselves evolve or see ourselves have a greater way of revolving. Now, one of the things you want to keep in mind is this: change is inevitable. We're always changing, even when we think we are not. Now, a lot of motivational speakers will tell you, and other people will tell you, and everyday people, even your own family and friends and members of your community will tell you that if you aren't making the changes that are necessary for yourself, if you're not thinking for yourself, then someone else may do the thinking for you. That what happens a lot when people are working, when they have to work for someone else because that's what they have to do. Or maybe they enjoy working with a big company or a small company, corporation. Or maybe it's a family run business. And when it's a family run business, everybody's got to work together. Sometimes people don't work together, big settings, small settings. But however, we all have to change according to our purpose and how clear that we are about our purpose. And so today, I'm looking to share this insight with you, and I'm hoping that you will be able to get more information out of this as we go on. So let me kind of lean forward. I'm full of stuff today, folks. I'm just a happy go lucky person. It has nothing to do with the Mega Million coming up. I'm just feeling happier every day. Ever since I turned 70, I feel like, okay, this is my 70th journey, revolution, riding the earth in this particular age of my life. And I've done this, and we all have done it numerous times. So let me get started. You know, our dreams are highly important because they are instrumental in us living a better life. Our dreams are very important because they are instrumental in us allowing us through our dreams to live a better life. We can use the insight that we receive. Now, what kind of insight are we receiving? Well, first of all, we're gaining more information about who we are, what we want, what we desire, what we don't want. And as we acquire this information about ourselves, some of that information, if it's on target for ourselves, helps us to better understand where we are headed. That's very important. We need to understand the direction that we desire to go in. There used to be a song, and it was a part of a TV show. And the TV show back in the 60s, late 60s into the early 70s, it was called Beretta, Baretta. And Beretta was a detective. And I forget the guy that played the part. I think something happened to him much later in his life, and he became incarcerated, I believe. But he played this detective, and the tune was "Keep Your Eye on the Sparrow," and that's also almost like a gospel, an American gospel song as well. Keeping your eye on the sparrow, and what that meant was keep the eye, your eyes, keep your attention on what you are striving to accomplish in your life. So sometimes we got to look at the things that we might be striving to have in our lives. Like, the late Reverend Ike used to say it, first you must decide on what it is that you truly want. You have to start looking for what you want. You have to understand if that's something that you truly want. You have to then make the adjustment, right? And then you have to start planning for it. But he said, first decide in what you want. That's important. Decide on what you want. Know what you want. Do the research about it. Understand how it could play an important part in your life. Is it changing your life? Is it creating better health situation for your life? Is it giving you greater happiness in your life? Is it expanding your territory, so to speak? Is it really making it so that when you acquire this thing that you're seeking, is it long term or short term? Is it going to impact your life on a long term basis or a short term basis? So we have to begin to acquire that in our mind and start to look at that. And so sometimes we have to figure out what is it that we really want. And for the most part, most of us sometimes want love and romance in our lives. Many of us want peace, harmony, and happiness in our lives. Many of us want more money to do more things in our lives. But with more money comes greater responsibility. Some of us want a brand new career, a brand new job. They want to create a job. It takes responsibility. Well, it also takes responsibility to be in a relationship. It takes responsibility to be in a relationship with yourself. Get to know who you are and what you're striving to do and what you desire to accomplish. So many times we have to take a look at ourselves and we have to begin to realize, well, what is it that I want out of life? What is it that I want for myself? What is it that I desire to have for myself? We have to begin to look at that. And here's something, I'm just paraphrasing the late Reverend Ike. He said, first, you must decide on what you want. See yourself having, being, and doing what you want. I mean, what you desire, right? Your inner desire. And expect the universe to deliver it to you. Now, a person who's alive on the planet, the founder of the Agape Spiritual University and Church out in he started it out in Los Angeles, Culver City, California. Now I think it's in Berkeley, California. And this is the Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, who just had a birthday a few days ago. He says, and I'm paraphrasing him as well, you must have the consciousness. You must have the consciousness of that which you desire, which means to elevate the consciousness in its frequency to match the desire. So let's make an example. Let's say you want a car. Now, you've been looking in magazines and you've been seeing billboards of cars, a new car. And you're saying to yourself, I like to drive that real expensive Mercedes over there, or that Jaguar over there, or that Fiat, or I'd like to have that Volvo, whatever it is, BMW. But you got to have it in your mind that that's what you want. The question is, can you see yourself wanting it? Can you see yourself accomplishing it? Can you see yourself in an inner, rich, deep desire to have it? Can you see yourself cleaning the car out, and washing down the seats if that's what you need to do and polish them? Can you see yourself washing the outer side of the car or taking it to a car wash? Can you see yourself seated in the car? Well, here are some of the things in order to manifest that dream and make it a reality. You need to drive to the nearest dealership. Drive to the nearest dealership of a BMW, a Fiat, a Volvo, a Stingray, right? A Mercedes, a Bugatti. You need to go to those places and sit in the car, smell the leather, sit in the car and envision yourself driving it. Sit in the car, maybe have the opportunity to test drive it with the salesperson. Can you see yourself doing that? Same with the big house. Can you see yourself walking throughout a big house, tending to a big house, loving this huge house and the property, every inch of it? Can you see yourself in the neighborhood? Some people can see themselves in the neighborhood, but they never see how they're going to attain it, or they never see how they're going to maintain it. Some people just maintain things physically, but it never occurred to them they got a mortgage to pay. Can you maintain that mortgage? Can you be on time with the mortgage? Do you have sufficient funds in your bank account so that you're kind of ahead of the game of paying the mortgage? Light bill, water bill, taxes, land taxes, whatever you got to pay, school taxes. We always have to find out, though, what we are truly comfortable with. Are you truly comfortable with that which you seek, that which you desire? Is your consciousness matching the vibration of it? That's important. You see, there was a book called, I think it was called Life is a Game, or called The Game of Life. And it was by a unity minister or a science of mind minister, which would be now called Center of Spiritual Living. I have the book around me somewhere. And the woman who wrote the book was Florence Scovel Shinn. I believe that's her name. Florence Scovel Shinn, or at least Shinn, Shinn. Okay. And this book that she wrote was all about life just being a game and how we can play the game in a positive manner. So you might want to think how you can go about playing the game of life, making life fun to live in. But that comes with changing the consciousness that we have. We have to change our consciousness. We have to allow ourselves to see things differently, because that's very important. If we can allow ourselves to see something different, then we will notice that our life is changing. It changes thought by thought, feeling by feeling, which intensifies it. Our emotions have to be in the right place within ourselves. Our ego has to be healthy, but it can't be the braggart and boastful kind of ego, because you can attract the thing to yourself and then lose it. You might want to think, well, what am I going to do with it when I have it? Some people will let it sit in bank and never touch it, whatever that is that they're seeking. If it's a lot of money, they can let it sit there, let it gain interest, let it lose interest. Some people buy a bunch of CDs, whatever they can buy them from stamps, collectible items, antique items to put it into. Some people buy the biggest house they can get. Other people will stay with what they have and take, let's say, big lottery money and use it to not only blossom their own life and make it better, but also help others. Now, that doesn't mean you owe it to the world to help other people, but take some of that and help somebody. Maybe create scholarships, create foundations. That way you can employ people. Or find somebody that just needs help along the way and do that. Maybe you give them money to not only buy the house, maintain the house for a year or two, and then they're on their own. That's what a lot of celebrities do sometimes. Tyler Perry did that for a few people. Tyler Perry was the guy who created the character Medea, and he used to be playing Medea on stage for many years and then turned it into a movie. And then he began to prosper because he was traveling around the country with his actors and actresses playing out the role of Medea and then turning that into DVD and then turning the DVD into something bigger, a movie. Had created an empire. But what he chose to do was he helped others because he went through some terrible life experiences. Being molested as a child, losing his home, being homeless for years, and turning it around. And then create something. Steve Harvey, the comedian, the same thing. What did Steve Harvey have to? He had to live out of his car for 3 years. He worked at a job. He won a comedian contest on stage, won $50, came to quit his job. People thought he was crazy. He started doing little stand-up comedy routines, living in his car, ran across somebody that saw that he had some talent and gave him his first opening. He became the opening act. And then eventually it just started to pay off. He started getting bigger gigs, right? And then a TV show, a sitcom that ran from like 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I think, for him. And still traveled on the circuit doing. They all do it. All comedians like to go live, do a live comedic concert, as they call it, and fill up the stadiums and come back to their hometown city and sell it out because that's where they got their start. Think of the same thing with the dreams that you hold in your mind. Now, sometimes the dreams can be contemplation. You're contemplating what you're striving to do and how you're going to do it. You make notes. You create a dream board, a dream journal, and you put everything in that dream journal. I'll give you an example. I've been here approximately 11 years come my late dad's birthday this November 15th. And my late dad passed away in 1978. July 24th, 1978. This is getting a little bit of numerology. He was born November 15th, 1915. November 15th, 1915. And that 15 in his birth year, calendar date was 15 in the month of November. My mother was born August the 11th, 1918. And my mother was the one that told me a few years out of college, after graduation, that Albuquerque, New Mexico would be my new home. And I would somehow spirit and her as an ancestor eventually would move me, allow me to see how to move here. Things began to click. Certain events in my life took place so that I could come here. And people ask me, when are you going back to New York? Never. Even with the ups and downs here, I still have a better opportunity here than back east. Why? Because I opened my heart up to it. I opened my mind up to it. But I used to make these. I used to keep a notebook, and I would write out my life. That's something you might want to do. Not just create a journal, but write out your life. But how did I write it out? I wrote it out as if it was already taking place. Or some of the things I would say to myself is, I've done this before with ease and success, and I'm doing it again with more ease and success. And that the universe will bring everybody into my life that will assist me in this journey of relocating from the East Coast into the West. And eventually things happen. Some things happen I didn't like, but those things was the way of the universe saying, move. Don't forget what you're striving to do. So certain things had to happen. They had to kickstart, jumpstart me from plan A, staying on Long Island or a certain location on Long Island and moving. So I wound up moving around a lot. But then eventually, I lived in one, two, three, four, five locations. Then I got to location number six. Location number six, I was okay because I was in what? A safe net. But something happened and I had to move. So I had to find number seven. Then number eight. This was all along out. I wasn't used to all of this jumping around. But guess what? When I got to number eight and I put a call out into the universe, and then I went online and put a call out to uh, close friends who lived in New Jersey and said, look, I'm looking for a place to land. Uh, it's time to get off of Long Island. I never forget a client, a very good client of mine, a German lady, older German lady who was an accountant at a bank. She answered the call. She said, I spoke to my college daughter and my son who's in Japan on a college visa, studying in Japan. And I spoke with them, and they said, Mommy, let him stay with you in Teaneck. But guess what happened? I didn't have to figure out how to get to Teaneck. That woman, and showing you the spot that I lived at was number eight, not the house number. The house number was a seven. In fact, the house number that I was staying at on Long Island, far out in Long Island, was 52, and my birth year is 1952. But 1952 adds the eight. But I was in a house with a person who was born in the eighth month, like my mother was born in the eighth month. The woman that picked me up was born under the sign of Capricorn. Her birthday was January the 3rd. She's born January the 3rd. And she moved me. She came and picked me up with the little things that I had left, that I had things in storage, with the little things that I had left. Oh, and some of my things were already moved for me in storage. And it was sitting in storage. I was paying the storage bill on Long Island. She came and picked me up and drove me back to her home in Teaneck, New Jersey. I don't remember the house number at the time, but I remember she drove me back to her house. It was on a Friday. Things began to speed up. I was at her house by almost a month. It was in the month of August when I got to her house, sometime in the month of August. My mother's birthday was August the 11th, my late mom's birthday. So I moved there after August the 11th, but before the month of August was over with. Here I am living in this woman's house. Offered to pay her some rent. She said, I don't want no rent, Rev. You've been good to me. I got something planned for you, though, while you're here. Amazing. invited all her close friends, and allowed me to do a circle reading, so to speak, a meditation, one of my creative pathwork meditations, and then read everybody. Not only did they pay 25, 35, 40, 50, whatever she asked them to pay me, they gave me tips on top. I was able to hold on to that. Then I found my location in the Ironbound section of Newark, New Jersey, with three Brazilian guys. And the name, and it's funny, the house number was 103. The street was called St. Francis, and my name is Francis. And it worked out. I think I was there for about 4 years in that location. October 2005, I was there that long, all the way to 2009. I enjoyed that whole area. I got to know everybody, most of my neighbors in the surrounding streets, restaurants. I got to know them by first name, the Portuguese and the Brazilian restaurants. I had a blast. I loved living there. But time was ticking. Time was ticking. I did a spiritual teachers program there, and that brought more prosperity in my life and everybody who attended and everybody who received an award. And then something happened. End of the year, I had to move. But when I moved to my last location. And from that last location, actually next to my last location, I had to move from there to Patterson. And I stayed in Patterson a year, and then I had to move to Hackettstown. And once I got out in Hackettstown, I was too far away to be at places. So the places that I taught at, one of them had me come. I'm talking about dreams now. My dream was to move here. And how did I move here? People threw functions for me. And I made enough money for those functions. And then someone came forward and paid for my one-way trip to figure out what I wanted to do. One-way journey from Hackettstown, round trip, to go check it out. And once I checked it out, once I thoroughly checked it out, I said, I'm coming back. And I came in springtime, checking it out for a week. I'll never forget, it was March 2011, in the week of my birthday. Had a great time, stayed with friends, one of my spiritual sisters who came from Jersey with her family just ahead of me. I had a great time. I knew I was coming back. And then things sped up. Events took place. And all I saw myself doing was living here. Boom, something happened, and here I come. I arrived one more time, one way on Amtrak, here to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Things changed. I was able to find a location. After 6 weeks staying with my friends, found a location, stayed there 4 or 5 years. Things just kept moving though, for me, but had my own place. And finally moved with something happened, moved it with some friends not far from where I'm at right now, and then found the location that I'm in now. I was meant to be here. For the most part, it's quiet, it's comfortable. I can walk to the train station, go to Santa Fe if I want, or I can walk around the corner and take the bus and go north, or I can take it and go south. Still hit all the places I want to hit. Just worked out. That's the way it worked out. So sometimes we have to let things work out. The universe has its way. That's what this is about. We could dream the dream. And you can make it very clear in your mind and in your heart what the dream is. And you can raise your consciousness to that frequency of the dream. But what's the most important part? You have to be ready. You have to do things along the way to help trigger, help activate, help you to implement the dream into a reality. We have to learn how to do that. Remember, Reverend Ike said, you gotta decide on what it is that you want. And you have to say to yourself, is that something I really want? Somebody could read into the energy for you. Somebody can grab a pendulum. I work a pendulum for myself. Why? Because I can remove my ego. My personal ego, I can place aside. But here's the thing. In here, not so much here, you can have the vision here, but you've got to love it deeply here. You've got to surrender yourself and let the universe work it out. In the meantime, you take the baby steps. In the meantime, you work on the little things so that when the big opportunity or the little opportunity presents itself, boom, you're ready to go. And that's what happened to me. All these things that were happening, I didn't say no, I said yes to them, and things sped up and things went easy. And before I knew it, I was on a one-way train ticket that was paid for. And I had the money. I had already paid for it. I had the money to pay for it. Someone called me up and said they had a dream where my mother and my grandmother was in their dream at an outdoor event. And the person said, and this person who had the dream was one of my clients from Long Island that said this. And the beautiful thing about it, she never met my mother in the flesh, but she described her in the dream. She described my grandmother as well. And she said, they said, help you. And I agreed. We were drinking tea with our pinky up in the air, sipping tea. And I accepted the gift from that woman and her husband, got my one-way Amtrak train because that's the way I wanted to go. I'm not afraid to fly, but I like seeing the earth. Why? Because when the train stops, you can get out, see and smell the air, not be in a building so much. It was a great journey. And then I arrived here. And then several other things happened, and I was able to move 6 weeks from my spiritual sister's house to some friends who were shamans, husband and wife, and then found this location. And here I am, 4 years later, still here, getting better, enjoying my space, doing the things I do for myself. Since I've been here in this state, I've written 5 books. Since I've been in this residence, I have written 4 books. That's my book number 6 back there. The Key to Life is Numerology just came out on Amazon. Just on the 15th, 14th or so, came out on Amazon. But it came out in June. But I corrected everything. Now it's out there. See, when you're in the right place for yourself, when you follow the dream, when you understand the dream and you get the insight from the dream, you get all the messages you need to get, and you start to firmly understand what they are, then everything starts to fall in place. Why? Because you've activated it not only in the mind, but you planted the seed deep in the caverns of your own heart. And you began to love the thought, the process, the insight, the consciousness, and you began to act accordingly. So when I say you can dream a new reality, can you? Yes, you can. All you got to do is affirm it. An affirmation is a statement that is true, and you apply it to your life as your truth. So it's a truth to you. You know it exists. And this is why I always tell people, sometimes you have to tell yourself, I've done this before and I will do it again, this time easier, effortlessly, and more successful. You can be more successful than you ever could imagine. Why? Because you want to be successful. You want to get it right. You want to live on a higher plateau, and you can do it. A decree is an absolute statement of truth that is declared, and there is no doubt in your mind that it does not exist in you. There is no doubt that it doesn't exist in you. It does not that it does exist in your life, and it comes through you because you're the porthole. You're the open door. You're the gateway. This is why I call some in my teachings that we're the open door, because we are. Life is flowing through us to and fro. You must trust, you must have faith, and let the universe activate and implement this truth in you. In other words, you got to be like a mother. You got to carry the baby, carry the idea. Then you got to be like a midwife to help bring out the baby and introduce the baby to the world. You must be humble as well and act under the light of divine grace. That's good because when you act under the light of the divine grace, under the consciousness of divine grace becomes a divine aegis in your life. It becomes these wings, a covering for you in which you can now function without being interrupted. You can enjoy the journey without being interrupted. And you're doing this with unconditional love. Here's one of the ways, and the main ways to do it. Meditation is listening to the universe and seeing through the universe what the universe has planned for you. Prayer is talking to the universe. Meditation is listening to the universe. Prayer is talking to the universe, but meditation is listening to the universe. We have to learn how to meditate daily. And if we do that, if we meditate daily, we're going to allow ourselves to achieve higher vibrational things in our lives that are deserving for us to receive. So I'm about to give you a meditation, and it's going to be just take you 2 minutes, and then I'm going to close out. I want you to begin to think of something that you truly desire to have in your life through you that will give you everything you ever desired to have and achieve. And I want you to just feel that within yourself, not just know it here, not just see it clearly in your mind's eye. Your mind's eye is the single eye, which you do need, but the single eye exists deep in the caverns in your own heart. And I want you to begin to feel that impression, that icon, that symbol that represents that. And I want you to start loving the symbol because it is an expression of yourself. It is an extension of yourself. It's an extension of your dream, which is your reality. Shamans often say, or shamans often say, that the dream that we dream is our reality, and the reality that we live is the dream. Begin to see this, taste it, feel it, acknowledge it, and give thanks to that inner being, that higher self that knows exactly what you should be doing in order to achieve. And begin to feel and begin to see and begin to know that this is possible for you. Someone said the other day that everything that's going on right now, because it's brand new galactic type of cycle that's going on in the heavens that impacts every one of us. In this new cycle of things that will go on for eons right now, we have to expect the best for ourselves, for our loved ones, for our friends, for our colleagues, for our family members, for our neighbors, for our neighborhood, for our community, for our county, our state, our province, our country, our globe. We must know that we can receive, but know as you receive a good thing, take a percentage and tithe it into something, seed it into someone else's life. That way it comes back to you so you can seed more. Know that you're moving in the right direction for yourself. You choose to move in the right direction. You don't want to be pulled in it. You don't want to be pushed in it. You want to walk in it. You want to walk in what feels like a victory to you. You want to walk into what feels like success for you. You want to walk in where you know that you can sing your own song, write your own tune, and watch people benefit from it. Watch others be blessed by what you do. You can turn a sad face into a happy face. Why? Because you're reaching out and you're assisting someone else other than yourself. You're assisting someone else other than yourself. They say if you make someone else happy, you shall be happy. If you make someone successful, you shall be successful. So if you uplift someone else, you shall be uplifted. Why? Because the universe will reciprocate back to you. Reciprocity is one of the Kemetic laws and Hermetic laws. Pairs and opposites, that's a part of the Hermetic laws. The universe is mental, that's a part of that is the main thing of a Hermetic law. You must come to know yourself. Educate yourself, heal yourself, but also understand others assist you. Do you know that we are the extension of our ancestors? If you're fortunate to have children, they're not only extensions of you. If you've got great great grands, those great great grands are extensions of you. But you are an extension of your parents. And your parents are extensions of their parents. Now that becomes your grandparents, and then your great grandparents, and then your great 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 grand, and it just keeps going. And it can take you back to someone did it, I think, on Facebook somewhere that there's 2,104 generations. And it's interesting that they picked that number because that number on a sound scale is connected to the letter C, which is keynote C, which is connected to the heart. So you become an achiever because you got ancestors rooting for you who transition to the light, who are walking in the light as higher beings, higher souls, watching you, pushing you towards your goal, pulling you towards your goal, putting things in your path without destroying your karmic lessons along the way. But people are making it possible for you to be a success because you didn't make it on your own. Someone assisted you. So here's a short journey, really short. Think of the one thing or a few things you'd like to see yourself experience in this now moment. And as you do this, I want you to give up the sensation of worry and anxiety. Don't worry about it. Don't get anxious about it. Just expect it. And as you begin to expect it to happen for you, know that you are gloriously making it possible for others to also be successful, also be happy, also be cheerful, also live in a state of peace of mind, happiness. Hold that in your mind's eye. Hold that deep in the wellness stages of your heart. Now, if you should happen to hear any other sound, I can't control it. It's outside, some work going on. But I just want you to know that everything and anything is possible. Deepak Chopra said, if you're worrying too much or worrying all the time, you are creating a negative prayer, a negative seed planting it into the universe. And the universe is your subconscious self. And your subconscious doesn't know right or wrong, good or bad. It just knows what you keep feeding it. And it has to replay it back to you. So start to go within yourself and begin to hold on to the new truth, the new reality of yourself. Create a new mindset and a new heart set for yourself. See yourself living out the dream as a reality, higher reality, not lesser, not lower, higher reality. See everyone in your life treating you good and see yourself treating them better. You're creating a better version of yourself. Love yourself more, have more unconditional love for you, and do this under what? The principles of divine grace. Grace means with ease, effortlessness, and without reward. In other words, you're not seeking a reward, you're just giving of yourself so that you may receive. That which you desire, you shall have. That which you raise your consciousness to and match it inch by inch, word by word, phrase by phrase, energy by energy, you shall have and accomplish. Okay, now here's some announcements. I'm here every Thursday at 1 p.m. I try to do this program for 30 minutes, like you just now finding out I'm long with it. So it goes a little longer than 30 minutes, but I'm here every Friday, usually at 1 p.m. with clear blue radiance. This is my metaphysical and spiritual insights and teachings that I've acquired over the years that I love sharing with you with some quotes and explaining those quotations of other metaphysical spiritual people that have walked the face of this earth. Then on, and this is for Resident Essentials, then on every Monday at 12 p.m. is the owner of Resident Essentials out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and this particular channel here on YouTube. It's her channel. We hear from Michelle Vidal, and Michelle teaches you metaphysical teachings and principles, and she gives you a wealth of information that you can use right at the moment. That's what we all strive to do as teachers. We try to give you this information that you can put into motion right now. Then on Tuesdays is the Donna of Dominion Tarot, and she gives a spiritual life lesson, and then she does what we call one card tarot readings for anybody who's seeking some general insight into what's going on in their life. Okay, so we have three of us here doing something for you that can assist you. If you live here in the state of New Mexico, if you live here in Bernalillo County, in the city of Albuquerque or near us, or you live in Santa Fe, or you live in Los Lunas or Belen, why don't you come on up on Saturdays, or actually during the week from Tuesday through Friday? Go to Resonant Essentials website page, Resonant Essentials, and look around and see what's going on. There's a calendar there. There's names of practitioners. Tells you when we're around to help you. On Saturdays, every second and fourth Saturday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., Donna of Dominion Tarot leads the Spirit Circle. And in the Spirit Circle, you learn about your gifts, quote unquote, spiritual gifts, skills, talents, how to bring them to the forefront, how to utilize them. Usually every third Saturday of the month, we have orbital astrology with Johanna Rader. And Johanna Rader comes on through the Resident Essentials YouTube channel every Sunday at 3 p.m. And she gives you the astrological influences of the week from Sunday through Saturday. So be sure to tune in on Sundays at 3 p.m. here at the Resident Essentials YouTube channel for Johanna Rader. Very good heart, very good person. And she's been studying astrology, I think, since she was 10 years of age. So she's got 20 years or more underneath her belt, and she knows what she's talking about, so she can give you some insight into the astrological influences of the week. That's good for you to know. Also, if you're a part of the Resident Essentials, the group on Facebook page, if you become a member there, join there, you can get tarot scopes by Shirley Chessman. And Shirley Chessman, she's got some insight that's out of this world. So you want to receive that. We have information by other practitioners such as Arya Sweta, and she brings you some information. She's from India, but she puts it through there so you can pick up on the information right there in Resident Essentials, the group. Now, if you're here close enough, you can come in on Saturdays. I'm there on Saturdays at Resident Essentials, located at 3107. That's 3107 Eubank Boulevard, Northeast, just north of the intersection of Eubank that runs north and south, and Candelaria Boulevard, northeast, that runs east and west. You can go right into the Scottsdale Shopping Village Plaza and just drive past the Nashville Chicken Place, and right there, you see the building is green with black trim, and go through door number 34, the black door, double door, go through there, because right on that left hand side there, you'll see Resident Essentials. And you go right in there, and you can ask for me. I'm there from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., giving you my Creative Pathwork meditation series. So I want you to be able to participate in that and receive that, and allow yourself to get grounded and centered through my Creative Pathwork meditation series. I give you like 4 or 5 light rays, but not only that, is helping you in small baby steps with your meditation. The meditation groups are small, and that's the way I like it. Sometimes we have them bigger, 1-on-1, 2-on-1, or we get up to 5 people, 6 people in there. Come on out. A very minimal fee is received for it by me, and you can come there and get the information that you need so you can be a better person at meditation. It's for beginners, but it's for intermediate level people. There are people there that meditate on all kind of levels. I've been a meditation practitioner since 1971, and I've been teaching meditation since 1973 while I was still a senior in college. But I started officially in 1974. So I have a lot of things to offer and share with you. Come on out every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. You need to RSVP, so you can either contact Michelle Vidal for that, but you can contact me directly, iam.circlegrace1@gmail.com, or just put it into the Resident Essentials to group, or you can find me on Facebook. I'm there as Brother Francis Revels-Bey and Circle Grace 1. You can tell me that you want to come, and I'll most certainly greet you, and we can meditate together. And that's from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., usually every Saturday at Resident Essentials. Well, I'm going to sign off now. I've been talking too much. But thank you for tuning in live. Thank you for coming back and tuning in during this time. If you happen to replay it, so I'm going to leave a little notation here. Make sure that you get this information. This was Clear Blue Radiance. And bear with me a bit. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You know, we only learn by asking. We don't learn from being silent. And we know that when we allow ourselves, what happened here? When we allow ourselves to have a joyous time, we can learn together. We allow ourselves to be on a level of agreement, and we uplift each other's consciousness. So, as we do this, we have this opportunity to learn. And learning is essential to our well-being, just like everything else, right? We have to learn, and learning is important. So we're going to put down just part of the title today, so it'll be easy for you to find it. When you come into the chat, then I'm going to sign off. And I want you to have a great time today, a better Friday. I want you to have a fabulous Saturday, a blessing of a weekend, and I want you to enjoy your Sunday. I want you to love yourself more unconditionally and those in your life as much as you can. This is a brand new galactic cosmic calendar year. And let's keep moving forward and making the world a better place by making ourselves a better place. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. My grace is your grace. And thank you, Jackie. Fillmore, Antoine, thank you for tuning in today. May all of you be blessed. May all of you enjoy. May all of you stay happy. Be well, everybody. Love your life as you love yourself. See you next Friday. Excuse me. See you next Thursday. I'll see you next Thursday with Clear Blue Radiance at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Take care. Be well.